Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. Some people are perfectionists, right? They want everything done 100% perfect all the time. The problem with that is that 100% perfect is often not needed, right? There are times in my career where I would focus so intently on the minorest of things, right? I'd be so focused on the perfect presentation slide deck to pitch a business case to like the CEO of a company that I'd work with, right? And I would go over all these details with my staff on the numbers and everything that I needed. And I'd kind of like nitpick a little bit. And at a certain point, it dawned on me because the COO that I was working with at the time says to me, Chris, sometimes 80% done is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I was like, I thought it had to be just spot on, awesome quality all around. And when he said that to me, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's okay to, not focus on things so hardcore. So when we fast forward now a number of years, here we are, running all in content. We are producing high quality work, in terms of the video content that we're doing. We're batch creating content, scheduling it for people across their social media. I see some clients who are so focused on perfection. They want maybe their Instagram grid to look a certain way. They want every little piece of like the lighting, the logo, where a thing is featured in a post to look a certain way. In my head, I find myself wrestling with, do I have that same conversation that I had years earlier in my career with them? Because the stuff that they're focusing on, the nitpicking, we'll call it, ultimately doesn't matter. It's not going to make a world of difference. And I think that's the message I want to share in today's episode. Like, screw perfection, really, at the end of the day, because all perfection does is slow you down. I'm not saying go so fast that everything's wrong. You don't want to do that. Like, there's times where I go way too fast. Like, I try not to, my wife gives me shit for this all the time, but like, I try not to do too much on my phone. I don't know if it's fat fingers, thumbs. If you're watching this on video, you're seeing the thumbs. But I'll make some spelling mistakes and send things off, like, which is super annoying and at times looks unprofessional. But like when it comes to video content, I don't think you have to worry about everything being perfect. You want high quality, yes. There's certain non-negotiables, like you want your audio to look good, your lighting should be pretty decent. You don't want to be shooting in like the lowest resolution possible, but you also don't need the highest. You definitely don't, right? So I think finding that happy medium, finding what's good enough versus what's perfect is important. Because I think when you strive to find perfection, it hinders your progress. If you have team members, and I've had team members throughout my career, right, where again, I pushed for the best of everything. What it did is, I think, because no one actually, told me this, but I have a feeling, it probably pissed them off. They probably got super annoyed with me, and it felt like it was a bit of micromanagement. That's sometimes how I feel when clients were like, oh, I'd like to see this change by like, I had somebody the other day say, I want something changed by like a centimeter, like one way. I did it, but I was like, holy fuck, like this is annoying. Like, why do you care that much? That's not going to make a difference. But you try and cater a little bit. But it makes it less productive, let's say it that way, when that something like that happens, because it doesn't all matter. The other thing I will say about perfection is that when it's perfect, it can sometimes, not all times, but sometimes come across as not as genuine, borderline inauthentic or fake. Like, if it's perfectly produced, people might not think it's real because it's so staged. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with it, but I will advise people to do this, where I will say, you should probably, go live every once in a while. And people are scared because, like, oh, if something happens, whatever, right? And it's like, well, that's okay. Like, the genuine, real you is cool. Like, that's good for you to do, right? But I think, to me, it's like, if the more you can be real, the more people are going to want to work with you, because that real stuff matters. Like, it's, again, if you try and go for perfect, it's inauthentic, it takes longer, which brings me probably to that next point, is really on speed. Like, if you go for speed versus perfection or flawlessness, I think it's going to slow down how well things get done or how fast they get done. You're focusing on minor details that aren't going to move the needle. You are, going to struggle to get stuff done as quickly as you can be. Like, I believe that quality is important, but I also believe that quantity is important. So in order to find the balance, you got to realize 80% maybe is good enough, not 100%. I will release some videos, mostly for myself, that might have little mistakes in them. Now, should I do that? Probably not. But I don't mind if there's like little, like, oh, this half second here, wasn't super clean that from when it was edited, or this timing's a little off. I'm okay with it because I want it to be real, and then I can maybe use it as an example. Striving for perfection causes you more stress. And here's the thing, running a business is already hard. You don't need more stress. That's what I think. Again, thanks for tuning in. This is a short episode of this week's episode of Chris Hanna Show. If you're looking for any help and support, if you do want to batch create a lot of videos, maybe make some blooper reels along the way, because that's pretty fun, hit me up. You can visit allincontent.ca. You can learn more about what we do and how we can potentially help you. We don't work with everyone. We're very selective on who we work with. So we do have a consultation process to make sure we're getting the right people who actually truly do want to work with us. But again, we're here to help and support you in any way we possibly can. And if you just want to talk through, business and, talk to someone who's going through the grind and sharing some lessons the hard way, good. Hit me up. Love to have a chat. Have a good rest of your day. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.